Business on Purpose podcast.
Recently heard a few things that really took me by surprise. And one of those was that it cost 5 times as much to acquire a new customer as it does to retain an existing customer or client. 5 times. Hey, it's Scott Beebe with the Business on Purpose podcast. Our whole point right here, the mission, is to liberate you from the chaos of working in your business and to train you on how to let your business burn. I'm thinking through, and we've been really working through this with a lot of clients lately, and we've gotten some leg with this and some distance with this, and it's been really good. I've got a statement that I shared at our recent Business on Purpose 12-week plan live event, and the statement was this: nurturing, hiring, and onboarding are the new marketing. Nurturing, hiring, and onboarding are the new marketing. What do I mean by that? Well, if that is true, that it takes 5 times the amount to acquire a new client or a customer as it does to keep or maintain an existing client or a customer, what that tells us is that nurturing the relationship of existing clients or customers not only makes good financial sense, it's just good human sense. Like, it's good relational sense to be able to develop relationships with the people that you're doing business with. See, we're under the conviction here. One of our core values is work is faith. Here's what that means. Faith, by definition, is simply the conviction of something that you cannot see. It's not necessarily a religious word. It's just the reality. It's a conviction of something you cannot see. Work is the creation of that thing that does not exist. And so one of our core values is when we live out our work, we are in essence demonstrating our faith. It's one of the things that we do. And so we take numbers like this, 5 times the amount to acquire a new client, and we look at this and we go, wait, work is a way that we're living out the conviction of something that we cannot see, and realizing that these human relationships is where transformation really happens. And so we're always looking for a cause, right? Well, the cause for many is right in front of you, and it's the business that you own. Because through those relationships, we've got the opportunity to impact real lives. And so nurturing is not only good for the bottom line, nurturing is great for the cause that we want to invest in, because the relationships are in and of themselves that very cause. So what I want to encourage you to begin doing is developing a process for nurture, a process for human connection. What would that look like? Maybe you acquired everybody's birthday and send them a gift on their birthday, and part of the process was every week you and your team review who's got a birthday this next couple of weeks, and you've got cool funky gifts that you send out with a note to say, hey, happy birthday, we were just thinking about you. It's a way to nurture the relationship. Also, hiring and onboarding are the new marketing. Why? Well, your team are going to sneeze the mission of what you do in your business. I was at a large box store in the last couple of months, and one of the people at the register was head down on their phone, and finally when they looked up to realize somebody was in front of them, that person was head down on their phone. And they began to talk about how this person who was working at the big box store always liked to stand behind the register and stare at their phone, how they tried to maximize the time of staring at their phone behind the register. Well, they're sneezing the culture of that box store. It's one of the reasons that they have a hard time finding people to work at the box store. It's not very magnetic. Whereas you go to another place, say a Zappos, where the people there are magnetic. It's almost a place you look at and go, man, I'm not really interested in selling shoes and other things, but I would be interested in working for that company. Why? Because they've hired and they've onboarded well. In fact, part of their onboarding process, I don't know if it's still true, but it used to be that they would pay you cash to leave within 30 or 60 or 90 days. Because if you're tempted enough to leave with a small amount of cash, and it was like $2,000 to $5,000, then there's a high likelihood that you're not going to be here long term. And if you're not vested long term, then you're not going to be vested in investing in the relationships of the team members. And so that reality of hiring well, onboarding well, and so we've started to write new process around hiring that takes 4 to 5 engagements before you actually hire somebody. And then once you've hired them, that they're not at the start line day one. In fact, there's a pre-start, there's a pre-day one video tutorial series where you've got the owner actually walking through the history of the company and some other things as if it's an online course that they go through before they ever show up. And then once they get there, they go through a 3-month, very simplistic outline, but 3-month outline, very intentional. And by the time they hit day 90, that's the start line. It's not necessarily a probation, it's just the start line. It's just, this is what we do to get you started so that we hire and onboard well, because we realize that if we can embed the vision, the mission, the values, the criteria, the decision-making process into you, you've got a much better likelihood of investing that into our customers and our clients, which leads to a nurturing relationship, which leads to longevity. It's really powerful. Nurturing, hiring, and onboarding are the new marketing, and it's important because it's a whole lot less expensive to maintain and to nurture existing relationships than it is to bring in new relationships. So there you go. If you want to get started on products and service, mybusinessonpurpose.com/vision. Go to letyourbusinessburn.com. We'll see you next time right here on the Business on Purpose podcast.